Peace and blessings, family. It is yours truly, Amari. I am the founder of El Kebalan Unity Alliance, and my queen, Amani Mari, is the co-founder. We focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. And on today, I want to talk to you about life's bully. Yes, we're going to talk about life's bully on today. I definitely feel like this is going to be a good subject matter on today. It's going to stir some people up, but I'm willing to step out there and to be able to take the heat. That's what I'm chosen to do as a messenger, is to step out and to deliver the message and keep it moving. Okay, I'm just a mailman. I'm just bringing the word of the Creator, to those who love the Creator, those who are spiritual people, those who are upright people, those who want to evolve in their spiritual life. Again, as I aforementioned in the opening of this video, we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. I'm one who have been set free from being incarcerated by the false teachings, and the lies of man. Again, the false teachings and the lies of man. And I just want to briefly talk about defeating life's bully on this evening. Hopefully everybody has had a wonderful weekend. I definitely don't want to overlook that. I want to thank all of you as well for those who have subscribed to our YouTube channel, those who follow us on Instagram, as well as those who have joined the group on Facebook. Definitely, we greatly are appreciative of that. It's very humbling, and I'm honored because, again, it's all about you. You must understand what I'm doing. It is really about you. It really is. And the reason why I'm so passionate about what I do is because I once in my lifetime have faced these things that I talk to all of you about. I'm not one who's talking about these things that have been experienced indirectly. I'm one who talk about these things that has been experienced directly, okay, as well as what I've seen indirectly. Okay, so we're going to talk about life's bully on today. Listen, I'm going to hit this from a different angle. I want to thank everybody that's tuning in on tonight. Let me give some of you a shout out on tonight. Tacy, thank you for tuning in. Elder Gibbs, thank you for tuning in. Of course, my queen, Amani Amari, the queen of my heart, who always is in my corner. Appreciate you, my good brother, Jovan. Thank you for tuning in. Marty, thank you for tuning in. Magdale Martinez, my good brother, Dean, okay, over in the UK. Thank you for tuning in. And Janet, thank you for tuning in. So we're going to get ready to dive in. Listen, I'm going to talk about this bullying thing, from a different angle. And then I'm going to touch on the various angles of bullying. A lot of people, we talk about the outward bully, but I want to talk about the inward bully as well. Because our own thoughts can bully us around and tell us what we can and we cannot do. We have a spiritual bully as well, and that's our psyche. That's the wrong mentality that we have. And that wrong mentality can incarcerate us, and it can push us around. Okay, it can keep us from going to higher heights and deeper depths and walking in the greatness that we have been ordained to walk in. And then on the other hand, there are people who are the ones who deposited that information in you. So there's an internal bully that's going on, and now you have an external bully that's going on. People who try to manipulate you and control you. Okay, for those who are churchgoers, you have pastors that tell you can't go over here. You got to come through me. You got to ask me, can you go somewhere? This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the bullying, pushing you around. I'm the man of God. God has chosen me. How dare you come to me and tell me anything? I'm the one that's chosen to be the leader. And then you have manipulative and controlling spouses, that, you can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing, both male and female. You're experiencing this type of bullying. Okay, and then you have the bullying that goes on in society, right? Where society tells you, that you can't wear your hair a certain way. You have racist bullies, bullying going on. You can't dress this way. You can't live in this zip code. Then you got the status quo bullying. You need to drive this type of car. You need to, have this type of house. You need to dress this type of way. And what I love is two individuals that come to mind is one gentleman by the name of Eric Thomas. A lot of people know him as the motivational hip hop teacher. And he broke the mold as what it relates to as the imagery of a motivational speaker. I've never seen this brother in a suit. I've never seen Eric Thomas in a suit. Never, not one time. And this brother is a multi-millionaire motivational speaker, requested internationally for him to speak. And he decided not to let the status quo to bully him. He stepped outside of the box. He wouldn't let nobody box him in. He wouldn't let, the norm box him in, And then another individual, that did that was Steve Jobs, who is no longer here. However, dresses in a t-shirt and jeans and, wasn't what the average millionaire image would have been portrayed in today's society. And now the game is changing. You have a lot of people now stepping outside of the box, and I believe this is definitely fertile ground right now, to be able to push this changing of the narrative, about oneself. And what I'm going to focus on, the scope will be that self-empowerment. Okay, because one thing about a bully, right? A bully makes you think that they can't be defeated. Okay, the bully will make you think that, you will not be able to conquer him or her, right? They keep you from fighting with fear. They seize you up with fear. Okay, and then fear keeps you incarcerated. And you got the abusive husband, the abusive wife, whomsoever this abusive person is, verbally and physically, and you have this going on. And, as long as you surrender yourself to their power, you give them power over you. Okay. It was the same thing with our ancestors that was on the plantations. Okay. That was enslaved. They mentally incarcerated them. They persuaded them to, not have confidence in themselves, and they put a fear in them so that they wouldn't stand up and that they wouldn't fight. And in fact, there were spectacles that were made, out of those who fought against racism. Okay, they were murdered. Okay, they were tortured in front of everybody. Okay, some people who don't even look like us, who stood up for what is right, they fired them. And they ostracized them, from their community and made a spectacle out of them as well. Hey, should you decide to do this, this is going to happen to you. In fact, some have been banned from off of major social media platforms, and, some algorithm, for their social media outlets have been tampered with, all because they're standing up against the bully, right? And so even some people, family members have ostracized them because, you won't allow them to manipulate you and to control you and to dictate how you live your lives. And then there's traditional bullying, right? There's bullying, and a lot of people, they don't want to touch on this. See, I love touching on stuff that people love to run away from, because I'm not afraid. I'm not concerned about it. I don't care how large our platform grow. I'm a truth teller, and I'm going to say it the way it is. I'm not biased. I believe, again, in judging things with wisdom, not by what's popular. Okay. That doesn't get you anywhere. Okay. It may get you a lot of pats on the back, but I tell you what, it'll keep you back. You know what I'm saying? If you continue to give in to, going along with the crowd. Okay, you know, we've been taught that that's the way to go. Oh, just go with the flow. Just go with it. You know why? Because it's tough. And one lesson I've learned being a person who stands up for the truth and who lives an upright life is, let me tell you something. You are not loved and embraced by those who go along with what the norm is. I promise you this. It is a tough walk for those who go against what's normal. Okay? And so with that being said, you know, or going along with what the masses say. You understand? No, I stand up for what's right. I stand up for what's right. Whatsoever is right, whatsoever is moral, whatsoever is good, that's what I stand up for. And I'm not afraid to do this. Okay? So now let's get to the traditional bully. Okay? We got to be very careful, even as African people, as indigenous people, because some of us, you know, we have indigenous blood in us. Some of us were already here. Okay? And I promise you, I won't be on this all night long. I promise you this will be a touch and go. But I have to park here just for a moment, being that I am one of indigenous blood. I must deal with this because we're talking about bullying. Okay, so you know, you have some traditions where women are not honored. Okay, and we like to say everything comes from the Caucasian. All that comes from the car. Everything, no, it don't. This is the reason why we got to study. You know, for some reason, some of our people, we get so caught up into what we're teaching about our people and what has happened to us about the opposite culture, okay, and those who are of European descent, to where we totally forget that corruption predates anything that is corrupt, as we know it today, as racism or systemic racism or anything. Let's understand this. Okay, let's understand this. Because a lot of times we want to just put ourselves out there like as if though we're flawless and before we came over here there was no corruption. Okay, this is what I submit to you. The laws of Ma'at. Why in the laws of Ma'at then does it talk about not stealing? So if that was never in the heart of man, and none of us ever was stealing, remember now, Kemet is over in Africa. So let's understand this, and the laws of Ma'at predates racism, as we know it today, systemic racism. Okay, none of us was called black during that time, or, you know, I'm talking about, you know, far as categorized and all the stuff like that. Okay, so if nobody would do anything wrong, then why did our African cultures have laws in place to deal with corruption? If corruption didn't exist, because we got to deal with this, we got to address this, because a lot of our people, we present ourselves as being flawless. We try to make it seem like, oh, no African person would ever do that to an African person if we were still in Africa. That's not true. That is not true. Okay? Corruption comes from within a man. Corruption comes from within a person. That's why when you deal with the laws of Ma'at, when you start dealing with the teachers of Kemet and also in Ifa, it tells you that your heart should be light like a feather. Okay, it talks about your heart. In Ifa, it teaches you about having a good heart. In Ifa, it teaches you about not dealing with your ego, your corrupt nature, your lower nature. Corruption didn't begin with slavery. I want some of you to understand this. I'm not saying that that's not part of the reason why we're in the state that we're in, but some of you need to truly get in touch with what it is to be African, because no disrespect, I think that some people, they swear up and down they got a grasp of what it is to be an African, and you haven't really touched in and tapped in to your spirituality. Corruption comes from within a man. Corruption predates even racism. You telling me before we came over here to this continent that nobody ever did anything wrong? You telling me there wasn't no structure put in place for a just in case purpose? If somebody did do this? Listen, there is traditional laws that are in place of what will happen to a man that cheats on his wife. Do your research. Do your research. There is laws that's in place if somebody break covenant. And see, what the problem is with a lot of us, we don't understand that a lot of things about African culture is not documented. See, a lot of people, they love to discredit things that you say that somebody can't go back and find on a wall or on parchment paper, okay? But a lot of our culture, okay, was not documented. You have to truly understand this. Okay, you have to truly understand this. And in fact, in order for you to grasp these concepts, do you not understand you need to talk to somebody that actually grew up in that culture over in Africa? Because my teachers, both of my teachers come from Africa. I'm talking about born and raised, not just African that lives in America. I'm talking about straight from Africa, from Ghana and Nigeria, who grew up in their culture. Knowing the culture in its purest form. Knowing the culture that had been passed down to them, and they preserved their culture in the midst of being colonized in Nigeria. One of my teachers is Prince Adderley, who was born and raised in Nigeria. My other teacher is Dr. AK, who was born over in Ghana, in Accra. Okay? And taught me the culture. Do you understand? So a lot of stuff that we get is false. It's false. Okay? And you cannot allow people to bully around. Oh, I'm a master teacher. Boy, I've been teaching long as you've been living. Okay? And then you got people that want to try to intimidate you and bully you, you know what I'm saying, in the revolutionary side, because you're not calling everybody a devil, and you know what I'm saying, you're not putting everybody in the same category, and oh, he's a sellout because, you know, or she is a sellout because they use sound judgment when they're judging somebody. But you know, we you know that, listen. You cannot allow people to intimidate you and try to bully you, because a lot of these people talk like they the end all be all. These pastors, these so-called master teachers, these so-called conscious people, these so-called spiritual teachers, okay, they will make you think unless it go through them or unless they approve you, unless they accept you, you know what I'm saying, then that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't accept you, then that's just it. Oh, it's a problem. Do not allow people to bully you because, well, I made a trip over to Africa, brother. You know what I'm saying? Where you been? Have you been to Africa yet? Okay, so what, I'm not African now because I didn't go to Africa? You see, you got all this foolishness going on. You understand what I'm saying? I'm serious, man. People getting caught up in this foolishness that they call consciousness, but it's like they still sleep. You think you woke. They have a form of Afrocentric pride. It's not enough to wear these garments. When you truly tap into your culture, you find spirituality. You must understand that you find family orientation. But when you start digging a little bit deeper, you start finding out that there is some traditions in our culture that belittle women, and it didn't come from racism. You got to stop letting people bully you with all this European came in, or they the one who started this. So they started clitoris mutilation that been around for thousands of years over in Kenya? Huh? Huh? Now, for those who subscribe to polygamy, stop letting people bully you around and trying to make you think that you're sinning. Oh, that's a sin. That's against God. First of all, our culture, polygamy, predates the Bible. See, some people gonna get mad when I say this, may lose a couple, friends and stuff, but it is what it is. Stop letting people bully you around. Stop allowing people to push you around with their ideologies and their dogmatic approach, imposing their views on you. Okay? Listen, and my cousin Yosef, he told me about this story. Okay, I didn't experience this, but this is something my cousin, he told me what happened to him. One time this brother had checked him because he wasn't wearing red, black, and green all the time. Okay? That's the colors of the African flag that Marcus Garvey created. See, some people, they get a little extreme with this pride thing. You see what I'm wearing? This is modern day African attire. I don't have to wear that. Marcus Garvey didn't even wear that all the time. Malcolm X didn't wear that. Does Farrakhan wear that? Does the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan dress like that all the time? Somebody answer that question. But we get caught up in all of this foolishness. We get caught up in things that don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? We get caught up in these things, and then we become so judgmental about people. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, once upon a time, not long ago, you were unconscious about who you are too. You understand what I'm saying? And so sometimes people talk to you like they been like that all their life. You know what I'm saying? They catch amnesia about where they used to be before they got where they are. You understand? And so you can't let people bully you around with their views, family. This is all I'm saying to you. Also, you know what I'm saying, when you deal with, it's another one called polyandry with our culture, right? And this is what I'm saying. See, understand this, and I'm trying to be as short as I can because this is power packed. So I'm actually condensing this as much as I can. Okay, I'm trying to give it to you in a small view. Right about now. Okay, you got polyandry. And the Wahdabi women over in Africa, it is a fact that they can marry multiple husbands. Okay? You understand? And sometimes what happens is people call things wrong and they want to argue with you according to a European mindset that they have. Okay? I have to say this is just what it is. That's just the way it goes. I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to keep it real. That's all I know how to do. Okay? A lot of times people who judge us, okay, are people who've been brainwashed. Okay? And when it comes to polygamy, when it comes to polyandry, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to being African, some of us, or being indigenous, some of us, we sidestep that because we don't want to offend somebody. You understand? How can you offend them when you're not belittling what they're doing? This is what I'm saying. Don't allow people's religious views or who is around you or who's on your page or who's listening to you intimidate you and keep you from actually speaking what needs to be spoken. You can't allow the loss of friends to bully you. This is what I'm saying. Okay? Because see, for me, I'm not afraid of no so-called activists hearing what I'm saying. I'm not afraid of no religious people hearing what I'm saying. I'm not afraid of these so-called spiritual people hearing what I'm saying. I'm not afraid. I'm not concerned about that. Okay? I was living before I met them, and I'm going to be living after they leave. That's just what it is. And in fact, I haven't seen some of them so-called supporters pour anything in our business anyway. That's all I'm saying. Now, I haven't seen none of them share our page or our business or do anything for us anyhow. So it's like you non-existent anyway. So who cares? You understand? Some people act like, I'm serious. And I'm getting ready to end. It's like the song by Beyonce. Don't get to thinking that you're irreplaceable. I was making it before I met you. I'm going to make it after you gone. So you can't let these men and these women that try to make you think, that you just need them. You can't function without them. Or you just can't move without them. You come on, man. Come on, man. Come on now. Listen, family, you made it before you met them, and you'll make it after they're gone. Especially they haven't did nothing for you anyway. What have they done for you but cause you nothing but hell? Okay? So you know what? Guess what? Actually, them exiting your life will be a gift because all they do is cause problems anyway. So what are you losing? Nothing. Matter of fact, with them being there, you losing your peace. So you can gain some peace when they exit. So let them go. Okay? Let them go. Because the only thing they try to do is manipulate you and control you anyway. Okay? These pastors and stuff like that's out here, these so-called conscious teachers and these so-called activists and these so-called spiritual teachers, you can't get to the truth unless you go through them. Let them tell it. Listen here. The wisdom and the knowledge of the universe is too vast for you to limit it to a person. Listen, my wife and I, we're real estate investors, right? And I'm getting ready to close right here. This is just something I just wanted to, talk to you about, just to have a little heart-to-heart with you. Okay? And my wife and I, we heard one real estate investor say something that the other one never said. Okay? The other one never even touched on. The wisdom of the universe is too vast for you to limit it to one person. And also for you to limit it to ink and paper. Listen, you don't need no pastor for you to have a relationship with the Creator. You don't need that particular spiritual teacher. Listen, we all need somebody in our life, but you don't need that particular someone. You don't need them. Yes, we need people, but you don't need that certain personality that's trying to manipulate you and control you. No, you don't need them. Okay? We all need somebody in our life. We all need people. We all got here through a human being. So it's obvious we all need people. We all went to school. We all had to learn how to read, to write, and all this. So we all need, but you don't need that specific person. You don't need those specific individuals. Trust and believe me when I tell you. You don't need them. Okay? And you'll find the perfect fit, the perfect spiritual mentor, revolutionary mentor. Okay, you a church goer, you in a mosque or you in a shrine, you'll find the right teacher for you. Listen, the universe will bring the right teacher for you. They will be a perfect fit for you. Okay? And also the perfect spouse and the perfect friends and, the perfect business connections. Whatsoever it may be, you do not need people in your life that's trying to control you. Okay, and make you into what they want you to be or what they think you should be. And this will got a lot of preachers And a lot of so-called activists and so-called spiritual people upset with me, which I really don't care. You understand? Okay, and I had to battle with these high-minded individuals too. And I had to deal with them too on my path. And you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to cut these people off, okay? Because they're parasitic. Okay, they'll inject that toxic poison in you and poison your mind. They have a form of the light. Okay, they have a form of the light. I'm going to say it again. They have a form of the light. Okay, but they're a bunch of hypocrites. Okay, watch how they move. Watch how they move. Watch how they move. They talk real good. They talk real good. But watch how they move. You understand? And then you tell them the truth. Understand? You tell them what's real. If you want to know who's really real, tell them what's real. And see how they act after you tell them what's real. And I guarantee you, if you stand up for what's right and you start speaking out against what's right, I'm talking about even Caucasian people that say, oh, I'm a good person. Oh, I believe in doing what's right. Okay, watch them. Watch them when something wrong happens and see whether or not they be quiet or whether or not they stand up for what's right. Watch them. Watch the African people too that run for office. Okay. But they've done nothing for the community until they start doing something for the office. Watch them. Watch these so-called spiritual people and conscious people and revolutionary people. Okay, watch them. Watch them. These so-called African pride having people. Okay, all right. Let's see how much pride you have when we start dealing with your heart and your mind and start really getting you in touch with your Afrocentric background. Let's see how you act then when we start talking about having a good heart. And start judging people according to wisdom. And understand that there's a duality and there's various perspectives like we learn in E5. Because when you deal with voodoo, you deal with E5, you don't hear none of this foolishness. You don't hear nothing about nobody's skin. You don't hear nothing about how much melanin is in somebody's skin. You don't hear nothing about that. What you learn is to be an upright person and to have good character, moral character. So when you really start getting in touch with who you really are, you're going to start understanding that you must be an upright being. And you have a life path and you have a purpose in this earth. And your job is to be an upright person and to walk in the spirit of love. Nobody said you had to be a wimp to walk in love. Nobody said you had to be a pushover to walk in love. Nobody says you can't be a revolutionary to walk in love. Love will lead you to fight. Huh? But when you're bitter, but when you start attacking your own, okay? But you saying that you have love and you love the African people. When you start belittling your brother and your sister because they have on a collar shirt or a polo shirt or, you understand, because they don't dress like you and they don't act like you and they don't talk like you. When you start treating your brother and sister wrong because they wrestle with their sexual orientation. Who said you had to support that lifestyle to love them? You don't have to love them to support their lifestyle. Huh? But do you got to call them all type of names? Okay? This is all I'm saying. You got some of these so-called activists out here, okay, who call their sister all type of names, get on there. The one sister who was at the Laker games, I can't remember what her name is. She got out there, she did this dance and, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff like that, shaking her butt all over the place. And you got this so-called conscious brother, okay, All right. So I'm just saying what I've heard. I'm just saying what I've seen now. You got two of them. One called the other one I'm talking about right now, call her you big fat this. Okay. Yo fat ASS. Okay. Then the other one called that sister Michi X a female dog. That's all I'm going to say. And created a video about, oh, we need to unite. Oh, we need to know who we are. Oh, we need to find out about self. And oh, we need to unite as a people. But got online, got on the camera, called his sister a female dog. I'm just saying. Then the other brother, supposed to lead a conscious group, supposed to be all about the power to the people. Get on there, talk about that sister. Okay? Whatever her name is. You know, she was on a Lakers game. She was twerking at the Lakers. I think it was the Lakers game or something like that. She was acting the fool or whatever. Got on there, oh, yo fat so and so, yo fat. Oh, okay. And then the sister's on there, you know what I'm saying, following right behind her. Only thing I'm saying is, watch these people. Don't let these people intimidate you and bully you. You connect with those who are upright, who's following the right path, who's doing the right things, who's not only watching and praying, but they taking action. You connect with those who are doing the right thing. This is who you need to affiliate yourself with. People who are upright and who are taking action in their life, spiritually, physically, and financially, not complaining all the time. They're not always whining and crying, okay, about what the Caucasian did. They're doing something about it. They're coming up with real strategic plans. And they're doing something themselves financially. They learned the rule book. They learned the game. They got the playbook about finances, and they put it in action, and they're winning. Not some whining, complaining people who's not doing nothing. Talk about the problems but have no solutions. Don't let these big mouth Negroes get on here and intimidate you with all this talking. And don't be ashamed of them calling you Uncle Tom. Okay, an enemy lover. Okay, you know what I'm saying? An agent. All these things that they love to call you, you know what I'm saying? When you're a person that's upright and you believe in fighting for what's right and standing up for what's just and calling wrong, wrong and calling right, right. Don't let them bully you. Don't let them bully you. Don't let your pastor bully you. Don't let your teacher at the shrine bully you. Don't let your imam at the mosque bully you. Okay, don't let them bully you. You stand up for what's right regardless of what the outcome is. Thank you all for tuning in again. This is yours truly, Amar Mari. Appreciate you. Remember, this is how you defeat life's bully. Okay, in order for you to do it, you got to stand up to the bully. In order for the bully to stop pushing you around, okay, you got to stand up to that bully. You got to fight that bully back. You know what I'm saying? And then that bully, I guarantee you, will end up standing down. Once you stand up to that bully inside of yourself, that bully outside of yourself, you will conquer that bully.